24-hour election coverage, ladies and gentlemen. 24 in 2024. And I remember my friend talking about how he was going to run for president in 2020. We were making videos way back in 2014. He was talking about how he's going to run for president in 2020. He was going to have 2020 vision. Haha, what a joke that seemed. Running for president has always been kind of a form of performance art, in my lifetime anyway. There's always been, kind of celebrities threatening to throw their hat in the ring or this or that. It's a media circus. And it's just amazing how boring. Or okay, so we're obviously going to talk about the debate. I know I'm way late to this. Everything's already been said really at this point. I did watch it, but I was I watched it, I was sort of going back and forth. I was at Comedians on the Loose at the Black Cat Coffee Shop, which is a very cool venue on the Lower East Side. And then they were showing the debate in the bar next door. So I don't know. I couldn't really pay that much attention when it was happening live. So I didn't see it live, but I checked fucking the news and shit on my way home because I was, just trying to figure out what happened. And it was just all the headlines were the election's over, Biden has lost. This was the H-bomb of, presidential campaigns. He's done for. It was just so embarrassing. So I was led to believe it was going to be I don't know, some Zucker Brothers movie of old guy kind of mishaps and weird kind of flubbing. And I was underwhelmed when I actually watched it. I guess I didn't watch it that close, but I thought it was going to be must-see TV. I think that's part of the problem with our government is especially the presidency, is it is performance art and it is entertainment. People think it's just a TV show, and the debate is literally just a TV show. So, I'm sure a million other people have made this point by now, but it doesn't fucking matter what happens on the Democrats always win the debates. Every debate I've ever fucking watched, Hillary won, fucking Obama won, John Kerry won the fucking debates. George Bush never won any debates. Al Gore was sort of famously boring. I guess that's what sank his ass. But, it's like a heart and head thing. This is something I've been thinking about a lot recently is do you lead with your heart or do you lead with your head? And I think Democrats, they can debate better. They actually have the policies. And they're generally trying to appeal to people's reason. Republicans, it's all just about, do you want to kill babies or not? Do you believe in Jesus? So we're heading towards a Christo-fascist techno-feudalism. While this has all been happening, of course, the Supreme Court has been making all these outrageous decisions. So it's 24/7 election coverage here from here on out, everybody. It's non-stop politics. It's not going to do any fucking good. Even if Biden gets reelected, which nobody really... He's like the stinky cheese man or something. Nobody really wants Biden. Has he been doing a good job? Yeah, sure. Is our country... It's the dumpster fire of our country hasn't necessarily, inflamed any further. It hasn't, we're not any more... the dumpster fire has sort of, mellowed. But the dumpster fire is still roaring. It's still going. We all know the dumpster fire. They have not put the dumpster fire out yet. We'd like to have a dynamic young... What about this young Kennedy guy that everybody loves on TikTok because he's super problematic? Can't we throw Jim Belushi in there? Jesus Christ. There's got to be everybody... Well, okay, so... He's not going to step down. I guess Joe Biden is super ferocious about... him not stepping down. She's the Lady Macbeth. There's always a Lady Macbeth. Here's something that I don't know if I've talked about this before, but this is something I've been wanting to get out of my system. I just wonder the logic, because you often hear this in presidential politics. Like if Biden steps back, everybody says it should be Michelle Obama, right? And then, who was it before? 2016, it was Hillary Clinton. And it's like, I just don't, what is the logic of the first lady being qualified to be president? It's like, it's just curious to me, because you don't see this in any other job. It's not like, oh, you were married to the airline pilot. You want to fly the plane? You would know how to fly the plane. You were his wife. Like, you were the president's wife. Why does that make you why does that automatic? I mean, I get it. You're in the White House. I guess you're being diplomatic. You know all the foreign leaders already. You kind of can see how the government. It's just weird that you don't see that in any other fucking job that I can think of. I guess maybe if you're running a company or something that you own, maybe your wife would take over or something. But it's, oh, you were the president's wife. Yeah, let's get you. It's like, well, I mean, that being said, Biden is like the most senior member. So in a way, I guess there's senators older than him, but he's been a senator since he's 27. So he's literally just got the most kind of like experience at running the state or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, the inflation thing, have they curbed it? What, the immigration thing, is that just some right-wing fucking ploy to get votes? Or is this is a problem? Or what is it? What the fuck is really going on? There's so much goddamn spin in the news. And apparently TikTok is all fake. So I won't name names, but I was watching the debate with my friend, who's a comedian, who's performed on the open mic many times. And it turns out I started talking about TikTok because my whole brain, I just got brain rot. I'm Gen Alpha brain rot, basically, because I'm on TikTok. I've got smooth brain now because I just watched my algorithm Black Mirror kind of convex reality showing things back to me that are like reinforcing my Freudian kind of strategic weed points or whatever. This is like Freud on crack. TikTok really gets into your subconscious and just hammers away at those neuroses. They just find your weak points and just, it shows me. Okay, well, anyway, so so I'm talking about TikTok because I always talk about it. Because I've got the brain worm. I'm brainwashed by the Chinese spy propaganda. So he works for TikTok. It turns out he works for goddamn TikTok. He's on the tech or something. He's worked there since last year, and he was just telling me it's all fake. He said the U.S. algorithm is worse than the rest of the world because they just rolled it out real fast. They wanted to just get it going, and so they rolled it out even though they were using CPUs instead of GPUs, and the algorithm wasn't, that's one thing I have noticed is the algorithm used to be better. They used to really know everything about you, and now it's kind of, it's a little bit more dialed out, which I think is, they don't necessarily want to show their hand and show how much they know about you, but I thought that was kind of interesting. There's more, everything we see is kind of a consumer product, we think, or, works of art are like this too. I think when we see them, we just kind of accept them as being finished, as being something that, like, the person completely worked over until it was perfect, or there's no bugs in it, there's no kind of manufacturing defects or whatever. But it's like a lot of times they got to put stuff out. They got to get TikTok out into the fucking, the hands of 8-year-olds and the true consumer base in this country, children, underage people whose parents buy them everything and who have nothing but, time to consume. They don't have jobs or adult experiential kind of lives. They just are stuck at home. They have to, buy content on their iPad or whatever. The iPad toddler generation. That's something I was watching a TikTok video about the other day, about how we were the last generation that had, like, Play. before iPads and shit, it was all like building blocks and like going outside, playing in the dirt. That was something I love building forts. I don't know if people are still doing this. When I was a kid, the greatest thing you could do was like build a fort. There was nothing cooler than like having an outdoor, like kids that had tree houses or shit like that. If you had an outdoor space of your own, there was nothing better than, I mean, I guess that's just like, you have something of your own. It's away from your parents. It's like you have your own little house or something. Like I loved, I never had one. We never had enough space, but they used to have those like little houses you could buy. They were like little fucking plastic houses you could buy for your kid or whatever. I'd live in one of them. It's a micro house at this point. Now it's like a real fucking thing. But, at the time they were just, I don't know, patterning us for our future lives that we wouldn't be able to achieve, owning a single family home, having a mortgage. Apparently people's property taxes are like skyrocketing. These are the things that I worry about politically. And would I say Biden, it feels like, we have an activist Supreme Court. We already have a radical shadow government. The Supreme Court is making these outrageous decisions, the Chevron decision. And I'm sorry to be a bummer and just politic out and just like complain, and gripe about the dystopia and the fascist takeover. But it's already happening. Project 2025 started in 2017. When Trump went in there and just fired everybody, fired Comey, now he's immune. Now the president has full immunity, right? That's what Sotomayor said. It's like she fears for the democracy. The president is a king. They've made the president a king. This is important. I think that's why Trump was so nonchalant. The 2016 Trump would have just fucking had Biden's lunch. Biden was teeing the shit up. That's the thing, is I would say, is like, okay, Biden. The thing is, if you're just noticing that this is who Biden is, you have not been paying attention. Anybody that has, honestly, I try to not watch clips of him because it is like, it's too hard to bear. It's just too fucking like, oh my God, like it's too embarrassing. So like, I don't really watch clips of him, but like I've complained about how he shit his pants on D-Day, right? Like things pop up in the TikTok algorithm and like, all right, good night, Ashley. If you're surprised by the way that he performed at the debate, you obviously haven't seen any clip of him at all from the last 4 years, because like, he is who he thought he was. He is who we thought he was. That's who he is. He's got dementia. He's an 80. He's not even. It's not even the age. It's his rapid decline. Like he's clearly just not. He's got Parkinson's. Not to be ableist. I'm not. Hey, I'm all. It's not like this is the first time we've had a deranged, old, white, diseased person who's way too old to be doing it as president. I'm sure throughout our history we've had a lot of bubonic, fucking syphilitic, fucking old, toxic white guys with fake wooden teeth that they stole from their slaves. It's like, we've got the Mad King. Welcome to feudalism. This is part of the fun. We've got a shadow government that's super right-wing, that says women can't control their bodies. They're going to criminalize homelessness. You can't sleep outside, Johnny Apple. These are Republicans. They're supposed to be small government. They're telling me I can't sleep outside. That's what America was founded for. It was so you could be a hobo. That's what small government was all about. All right, love you too, Ashley. We'll see you Thursday. Probs, but maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, so I would say Trump's debate performance, he got into it. They were arguing about golf and shit. Like, Trump got into the stupid shit. Just, he chased it. He was just as deranged. He was maybe one step sharper. He wasn't that much fucking sharper. Like, Biden was throwing him softballs. The part where he said he beat Medicare or whatever. Yeah, you beat it to death. Trump is the devil. Okay, he's not as fast as he was. He's not. To me, he was just as kind of, Yeah, okay, Thursday, exactly. Yeah. To me, he was not that much further behind Biden in fucking the dementia department, okay? He was just a couple steps from fucking he should be on a hospice. These guys are going to be in hospice before too long. We're going to have a president in fucking hospice. So I don't know. I'm happy to go with the Crypt Keeper. It's show don't tell, okay? Look at what the man has done. Don't pay any attention to the weird puppet show. In the debate, I mean, I think it's not going to make any difference. I don't think the guy's going to step down. He's worked his whole life for this. He is the incumbent. Like, as long as he's like getting oxygen to his brain, and he's cognizant. His administration, I mean, people do need to take seriously the idea that if Trump gets elected, he'll be a dictator. He'll be immune from process. Here's one thing I would like to. Okay, good night, Ashley. One thing I would like to suggest to Biden: the Supreme Court just passed this immunity thing where it's like the president can politically target his opponents and have them assassinated and claim immunity because it's official act. Just kill Trump. Just kill him now. Biden should just seize power now. He should just dictator now. He should just January 6th right the fuck now. Like, just seize power. The Supreme Court paved the way. Like, the thing is, if he loses the election, Trump's going to get in there and do it. He'll be the dictator. So it's like you kind of got to just coup d'etat the whole fucking thing right now. That's what I would suggest. Just do a political assassination. Biden. Maybe even just pull out a gun and blow fucking Trump's head off at the next debate. Why not? And just claim immunity. You're the fucking president. You're above the law. 6'3", Roberts, fucking Amy Coney Bryant, frat boy Kavanaugh. They all perjured themselves. They all lied about it during their testimony. They all fucking lied. They're all going to hell. Clarence Thomas is going to hell. Alito is going to hell. I mean, Clarence Thomas is a real piece of shit. They're all pieces of shit. And we're fucked. So I suggest people have a great time this summer. The year is more than halfway over. At 1 a.m. last night, that was the halfway point of the year. And so we are now over the hump of 24. It's all downhill from here, folks. Like a snowball that's headed for hell. I suggest you listen to Merle Haggard, Misery and Gin, and Are the Good Times Really Over for Good? That song is truer than ever. I mean, it's the inflation that's killing us. It's the privatization of literally every goddamn thing. And nobody can afford anything. What are we going to do, people? What are we going to do? I don't know. I guess just enjoy it. Just dissociate. Disconnect. Stop paying attention. There's nothing we can do. We've got... I mean, I think if Biden were to be reelected, we would be better off. I don't know. I mean, I don't like how things seem to be escalating, these proxy wars. But, there hasn't been some kind of explicit combat in any kind of major way between the United States and, whoever. And so I think the idea that Trump is like the pacifist candidate is kind of like, that's their whole lie that they're telling everybody. Is like, oh, he made peace with North Korea, or he makes peace with Putin, or he doesn't want to fight with Putin. It's like, well, yeah, because he just kind of rolls over. It's not, he just kind of gives them what they want. Or, I don't know, man. I don't know. So anyway, the debate, I don't think it was as entertaining or as, it wasn't, satisfying emergency. I think that so much of our dark lives have been, emergency television, 9/11, the pandemic, these kind of crises, that are like, breaking news. They break in and it's, oh my God. George Floyd, those protests. The debate, I don't know. It was, it wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I think they could have done a better job. The political theater, they're all in bed with the same people to some degree. It's all about corporations. It is a fucking scary time because it does feel like there's this systemic kind of change that's happening just fundamentally in how we are going to you're going to go to jail for sleeping outside, which means you have to be a part of this renters economy because it's impossible to afford a mortgage now on like your average salary. So they've done the math with that. And so it's just like you got to make yourself as profitable as possible somehow. Like, make as much money as you can to just be able to pay to exist. And, hopefully your quality of living will go up. I guess if you're genetically superior, you'll make more money, taller people, better looking people. They all make more money, they get better opportunities. So they're the ones who will survive. The short kings will all be wiped out, thankfully. By the grace of God, we'll just wipe the short kings out of the genetic pool. They won't have to spoil anything. Every guy will be at least 6'3". Or 6'3", I think, is the ideal. Oh my God, what the fuck else happened? Maybe I'll do some more movie reviews. It's Jim Belushi's summer. In spite of the early debate. I mean, they did the debate really early this year. People are speculating that that's because they want to show everybody that Biden is, like, the cognitively impaired. So they'll send help. I don't think there's anything we can do. Like, if he doesn't step down voluntarily, which I just don't see that happening. His family, apparently he's in Camp David, and his family is like strongly encouraging him to stay in the race. I think he will fucking stay in the race, and I think if Biden got reelected, who gives a fuck about the debate? Who fucking cares? Like I said, George W. Bush always lost the debates. That guy was a fucking figurehead. They're just figureheads for an administration. Biden, those people are like liberal Washington, D.C., center-right Democrats. They're like liberals from whatever, Nixon era or whatever. I mean, I don't think our country has moved to the left. This is something I hear guys complain about. And usually it's like, well, I used to be a Democrat, but now they call me center-right or something. Okay, Ashley. Because they moved this is something Elon Musk talks about a lot. It's like, oh, I used to be liberal, but then they went way left. And, it's like, our government has moved extremely to the fucking right. Like, we're, the optics, people just pay attention to the optics. And, like, the Republicans, conversely, are way better at that stuff in a fucking crazy way. People always blame Hollywood for being liberal, but it's like Trump was on the #1 fucking TV show. And they're just able to spin things. So it always kind of works in their favor. I don't think the Democratic Party has moved further to the left. I think Biden is like kind of a war hawk in certain ways. He's better than the alternative, right? I think we are offered so little opportunity to participate. We can vote in local elections, vote in, most people probably only vote, if they vote at all, every 4 years for the president, because that's like the Super Bowl of voting. America, it's big, go big or go home. We don't give a fuck about local anything. We want to vote for like big name celebrity politicians. And the government, the way that it runs and the logistics, the function of it are very real. They have nothing to do with the publicity machine, the PR, the front facing, Bush on a fucking aircraft carrier with a mission accomplished barrier or whatever. Uh, mission accomplished banner. But, Biden, I would say, and is the government is functioning better than the alternative, right? We're not offered that many options. I like this idea of proportional representation. This is something they have in the other real democracies. Our country is not really a democracy. They want to design it this way so they can keep control, basically, so they can bottleneck the power. As long as they own the politicians, it doesn't fucking matter what we think. It's like 72% of the people were against, I don't know, this Chevron decision or whatever. In some of these Supreme Court decisions, 72% of the people disagree with the Supreme Court. But it doesn't matter because those are the people who have rigged the system, basically. Oh man, I was over there. I think I've got cat hair or something. I am feeling kind of allergic or something. Let me. Oh God. So I don't know. Yapping about it on the internet, does that fucking make any difference? What do we do? What do? We just smile through the apocalypse. How can we better? I mean, we establish systems of mutual support, communities. Ignore it, I guess. To the best of our ability. It's just a bummer talking about it all the fucking time, and we talk about it so much. There's so much information overload. There's so many takes. There's so many ethical kind of posts you have to make. There's so many things you have to address, in the little pulpit of your social media or whatever. And it hasn't done any good. I mean, look at the resistance, right? I guess we did beat Trump in 2020, but who knows? That may have been some kind of deep state conspiracy where they rigged the election. They may have caused a pandemic to fucking... I don't think so, but they were definitely down to get Trump the fuck out of there. And he claims that they had the hottest economy ever. It was the greatest economy ever. I mean, everything he said was a lie. That doesn't seem to matter to people. They know that he fucking lies. They know how he conducts himself and how he, has kayfabe when he does fucking, conducts himself on camera. I don't know, man. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but let's just speculate on what a Trump dictatorship. Because, I mean, it would be terrible, but, it might not be all bad. I don't know. Like, certain people are going to win. More people now like Trump and are, like, vocal about it, and... it's not as crackpot, like, you're not just outright dismissed. And so, if you're into fracking, or, if you want to, just drill, baby, drill, he's going to cut taxes on rich people and corporations. They're going to make a lot of money, so it's like, if you want to just corrupt your soul and get rich and steal from people and... steal people's pensions and money launder and do all of that kind of shit. Like, it could be great for you. It could be just a bonanza. It could be a real profit bonanza for you. But, I mean, generally, I think we can clearly point to the Trump campaign in 2016. That was the minute that our society just went berserk. Life before that was, we were pretty well adjusted. We were pretty, even things like Twitter, nobody talked about politics really at all, actually. Believe it or not, people used social media without having to have it be completely about politics and shit. Like Twitter, once Trump happened, it was just like it was all about Trump. It was just all like tweeting, and becoming hyper political. and hyper kind of fragmented into identity politics and whatnot, because that was the opposite of Trump. Trump is white nationalist, white supremacist, patriarchy, business, the old way of doing things. And the thing that's sort of on its way out. But, you know, I don't necessarily know that the resistance, I mean, as soon as Trump got elected, it's like there went to Supreme Court. You know, did he get 3 justices? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. You know, so in a way, it was sort of game over already. I don't know, man. It's a chess game, I guess. We're all just pawns, and we're being sacrificed. Too old. This is what happens when you extend the lifespan. The growing pains of humanity. But I don't know. Just have a blast, you know. Just mog out, fucking vlog it all. Get on TikTok. Make videos. Film your family. I saw an article. I think it was in the New Yorker. What's the etiquette of like vlogging your Thanksgiving or something? It's like, Jesus Christ. The ethics of vlogging your family. I was vlogging my family 10 years ago, way before it was appropriate. People just want to feel like they're doing the right thing. They don't actually care. You know, they actually, you know, like, that's what's so infuriating about the politics thing. It's just like, it is virtue signaling. Like, we feel like socially obligated to say something because Trump is like a Nazi, he's a fascist, he's racist. You're a bad person if you're racist. You know, that's what society is. And don't get me wrong, like, horrific things were done by this fucking country. It's July 4th. The year is more than halfway over. It's almost July 4th. The country is almost 250 years old. Apparently, that's about how long empires last, typically, is 250 years. So, we're right on schedule. It's like 100,000 miles or whatever. You know, your transmission goes out. So, it's just like the transmission's going out in the United States, you know? And we just need a new one, you know? We'll just get somebody else in there. Just, you know, fucking... I wish somebody would just strap a bomb to their chest and go to the Supreme Court and take out like 7 or 8 of them. Take out the 6. Like, you know, whichever side they're sitting on, can we aim for that side with the proximity mines? We need Sotomayor and Kagan and, is it Jackson? We need them. They're holding it down for us. They're the only thing standing. Well, I mean, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, the Republicans really are dirty with the electoral politics. They really just, you know, they're all watching college football all the time. So it's like they know how to cheat the rules. Or, you know, they know exactly what they have to do with the rules. It's like, we got 6 Supreme Court justices. It's fucking game over. Doesn't matter, you know, just send everything to the Supreme Court. So this Chevron thing, Bruce Halliday, Broomer in the House. This is our election coverage, 2024, 24/7 election. All Biden, all the time. All Brandon. This is Weekend at Brandon's. It's Dark Brandon. I'm with Brandon, okay? That's my campaign. Give me the bumper sticker. I'm ironically embracing it, okay? We're hipsters. Let's just ironically embrace it, okay? It's not chill. It's not cool. But fuck yeah, let's go, Brandon. I'm with Brandon, baby. Woo! Prop his ass up, put some aviators on him, and let's Weekend at Bernie's this shit. I'm down. Fuck it, who cares? As long as it says D, you know, as long as there's a black woman in the fucking vice presidency and there's a D next to the president, I'm fine with it. Just let Brandon's shadow puppet, the people really pulling the strings. Let George Soros run the fucking government. I don't care. As long as Trump can't do it. Do not let Donald Trump do it, okay? Haven't we been through this? We've been through this once before. Did you really enjoy it? Did you really enjoy when the fucking temperature of the thermometer of society just exploded through fucking the top of the fucking I mean, enough dragon energy. It'll never be chill again. Okay? It'll never be chill again. That's why these. I don't know. There is no band aid that can be ripped off. You know, it's like accelerationism. Where's that going to get us? Over the cliff? Yeah, let's accelerate over the cliff. Great idea. We're still going over the cliff. Like, let's try and slow down. Let's try and stop the fucking car. All right. Thank you for watching. Erasmus the Saint. Holy warriors. We're vlogging. We're yapping. We're going to get this. We're going to save this country one fucking syllable, one live stream at a time, okay? We're the anti-Tim Conway or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. I wish I just had money to give people. That's what people like on YouTube. It's just like, oh, Mr. Beast gave this person $225,000 and filmed their reaction. Wow. 6 million views. That's talent, everybody. Just giving people money. That's what real talent. Talent doesn't matter anymore. People don't give a fuck. There is no talent. Everybody's entertaining themselves. You know? And then there's just genetic freaks who, like, Travis and Taylor. We're supposed to, like, worship them. Fuck. How do we avoid it all? I just want to, I don't know. I love YouTube and, you know, griping it out with my fans and friends, followers. The follower era, it's sick. We're all Branch Davidians. We're all encouraged to be David Koresh for some reason. Apparently, Trump had his, like, first campaign stop at Waco on the 30th anniversary. So, he's a wacko from Waco. Yeah, I don't know. It's just embarrassing. How do we confront these holidays? 4th of July. You know who loves America more than anybody that I know is immigrants. Like, Kuzu Daddy loves America probably more than anybody. I think that's cool. Like, the people here, like, take it for granted. We want to shit all over it. It's become very hard to be, because it's a stolen land, right? I mean, it's stolen land. You can't really get past that, you know? Trump triggered, you want to talk about triggering the libs. Trump triggered this sort of need to confront head on the karmic debt of this fucking dark, stolen Indian graveyard, basically, right? Every horror film is like, they built the house on an Indian graveyard. It's like our fucking country's built on an Indian graveyard. It's like, why do I have to deal with it? I'm a geriatric millennial, okay? Make the boomers deal with it. They got to have everything. They should pay. Make the boomers pay, okay? Not us. All we've done is pay and pay and pay our whole lives. Recession, 9/11, recession, pandemic, recession. There's no more jobs. AI is going to do all of the jobs everywhere. Legal secretary, every job you can think of. They're just going to fucking AI do it. They'll just model my personality. They'll just have my takes on everything. They'll just, YouTube, there will be AI bots. There will be deep fake scenes from a wife. So, I don't know. Trump dictatorship plus AI takeover. It's artificial slavery is what it is. They want these AI to basically just do all of the menial labor, all of the data entry, I guess, is the #1 job that AI is going to take over. Data entry, which is like probably the most like mind-numbingly dehumanizing fucking job there is. But all those people, how are they going to put food on the table? You know, how are they going to put food in their children's mouths? They got mouths to feed. That's something people used to say when they had mouths to feed. And tables. I don't think, do millennials even know what it's like to have tables of their own? I've rarely had a table in my life. It's like the best periods of my life were when I had tables. Bruce Halliday's on Social Security. Well, they're going to fuck the Social Security too. Now they're not going to be able to pay anybody, I guess, right? Or it's like, you can't survive on $1,700 a month. Not the way things are going. Not with this stagflation. The rich people economy is doing great because they're stealing all the money from the poor people. And just shoveling it into their pockets. I don't know. Just send me Venmo, send money on YouTube. Somehow we have to monetize our charisma, our personality. Nobody wants to look at me on the internet. How am I going to get random strangers to send me money? Like did you hear Dr. Disrespect got canceled? This is topical. There's an article in Rolling Stone. Dr. Disrespect is now Rolling Stone dad culture. But yeah, he's texting, well, fuck him. Fuck Dr. Disrespect, the motherfucking, it's like, how does this guy get people just like fucking cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching? I don't know. People don't think money in the phone is real. That's why they like online gambling, because it's just like, it's like having a slot machine on your phone. It's totally insane. Just make the casino everywhere. Just put the casino in your pocket. Have self-control. Call 1-800-GAMBLERS Anonymous. If you're Michael Jordan. If you're experiencing Michael Jordan levels of the urge to gamble. We watched Once Upon a Crime. Speaking of gambling, it's Jim Belushi's summer. I hope everybody's, to all who celebrate, we're celebrating the stolen country and Jim Belushi. Bruce Halladay has a studio for $740 a month. That is the sweetest sentence in the English language. Studio, $740 a month. When I was in Columbus, I had a 2-room studio with a porch, off-street parking. I had storage in the basement. I had a kitchenette type situation. I had tables. I had all my books. $550 a month. Everything included. $550 in the best neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, right across from Goodale Park and tennis courts. I had fucking tennis courts in my front yard. $550 a month, all included. That was 2010. That was before they just decided to rip everybody off. We're in a rip-off based economy now. It's whatever you can fucking steal from people, you get to keep. Just steal, 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 okay? It's a looting economy. Loot whatever the fuck you can. So, I don't know. Figure out how to monetize your cleavage or whatever. Figure out how to exploit yourself. I mean, it's all OnlyFans. It's all porn. They want to highly sexualize everybody in this country. They don't want to deal with the pain that they're creating and the trauma they're creating and the victims they're creating by overstimulating the fuck out of us on this American ride, giving everybody fucking Monster Energy drinks so they get fucking colorectal cancer when they're fucking 38 years old. This guy in Columbus, man, poor guy. Our heart goes out to him. He just got colorectal cancer, and he's like, he's like my age. It's like, this shit is, so now this fucking, what is it? This Supreme Court decision, whatever the fuck it was, Sentra, or what was it? I know I'm not sounding like John Oliver or anything here, okay? I'm not John Oliver, okay? I'm not a nerd about everything, okay? I kind of shoot from the hip, okay? I'm like the Glenn Beck of libtards, okay? I'm an idiot. I'm a failed actor. Failed off Broadway poet. I pay all utilities plus Medicare supplements, says Bruce Halladay. That is the face of America, everybody. Bruce Halladay, boomer, collecting Social Security, watching on his wall, typing on his computer, and letting us, narrating it in the comments. We love it. We salute you. We hope you're celebrating Jim Belushi's summer. It's been Belushi all summer long. I encourage people to watch Once Upon a Crime. Fantastic cast. All my favorites. Richard Lewis. My whole act. Richard Lewis, Jim Belushi, John Candy's in the film. Sean Young got in there somehow. Somehow Sean Young was like mentally stable enough to be in the film. Augie Morosco. It should be funnier. It was kind of, I think, them trying to do some kind of like European. I'm sure they had a great time in Monte Carlo, the richest country on planet Earth. When I think of my favorite entertainers, it kind of pisses me off that, like, they get paid a lot of money. They all eat in nice restaurants. They all fly, like, first class, fly private jets. Like, they don't live like we live. They're drinking, like, dessert wine. They're drinking, like, fucking, like, cognac and shit. And they're getting sent things for free. They get to eat in the nicest restaurants. It's like, David Gilmour is not one of us, okay? They freed Julian Assange finally. He cut a deal with the Clintons. He deleted all Hillary's emails. He deleted the servers. He put them in the recycle bin. He moved Hillary's emails to the recycle bin. He fixed Hunter Biden's laptop. Oh, actually, there was no problem at all. Actually, Hunter, here you go. Go smoke crack some more, buddy. We love you. We feel safe around you because you're bigger than us. I feel safe around. I don't know about you, but I feel less safe around people who are bigger than me. People who are bigger than me scare me. Okay. I don't think women. You have to understand, these guys that are bigger than you are not going to protect you. I can't wait till it's trendy for women to have boyfriends who are 4 inches shorter than them. That's going to happen someday. It's going to have to happen someday. Where they're just like, yeah, it's short king summer. We're all dating short kings this summer. Woo! We don't have to feel insecure about being big. I can't have to feel, they shouldn't feel insecure. They want to feel small. They don't. See, this is what I'm saying. This TikTok is eating my brain. I'm becoming obsessed with this. How the system is rigged against me, okay? I'm not Travis Kelce, all right? I'm not 6'5", okay? So it's like, we never had a chance, okay? Everybody's, it's height, there's too many height gap relationships, okay? I do want to talk about age gap relationships, okay? This is something I should address, age gap. Bill Belichick apparently has a 24-year-old girlfriend. He's 73, I think, so it's a 59-year or something like that. What is it, 49 years? Bill Belichick. I mean, that's a big age gap. It's legal. I do think that that's a little weird. I think it's also weird that, like, Pacino and De Niro are having, like, children. Like, you're fucking 80 years old. You're not even lived to see your kid, like, graduate college. Like, you should not be knocking up, like, a 23-year-old. Like, it's disgusting. Who do these 83-year-olds think they are? They want to be fucking president. They can't debate. They want to knock up 23-year-olds. They're going to die. I mean, Jesus Christ. At least, like, date a 40-year-old or something. That's an acceptable age gap. Have sex with, like, a 45-year-old and like, go wild. The thing is, okay, I'm just curious. It's because I'm not here necessarily to judge per se. I'm just curious, and maybe once again, it's just my TikTok algorithm. But this seems to be like something that is, women are very like, like they seem to want it to be like illegal or something, or like it's wrong to them. It's like they obsess over it. Or, maybe that, once again, that's just me seeing videos about it, but it's like Leo DiCaprio, keeps getting older. His girlfriends are always 22, and it's like, okay, why is that wrong? Why? Okay, let's just talk objectively about why that is a bad, Leo, you're a bad person. You should not be doing this. Should be dating. I mean, okay, it is definitely a commentary on, like, the disposability of women. Like, okay, she's over a certain age. You don't want her. She's no good anymore. That is something that, like, our society is definitely going to change. But, look at Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood's a prime example of that. It's like if women are over, what is it? We were watching fucking the I Love Lucy movie. The Aaron Sorkin movie. Because I'm just interested in movies written by playwrights and kind of dialogue-driven. And so I wanted to, plus it's like a woke movie. I thought it was woke in kind of an interesting way for like a boomer or whatever the fuck. Is Aaron Sorkin a Gen X or is he's like sort of cusp. He's like a boomer X. He's like he's a boomer X. And so I wanted to see the sort of woke Lucy boomer X white liberal movie. The Clinton campaign, the Clinton neoliberal, Clinton Global Initiative, Epstein Island Lucy movie. And I gotta say, Nicole Kidman was very good as Lucy. I gotta say, it was excellent actually. Javier Bardem is always incredible. But she gets fired because she's 39. She's lying about her age, saying she's 34. So the studio executive is just a prick about it. That's why Aaron Sorkin put it in the movie, I'm sure, to show that Hollywood was ageist. I guess there's some idea that it's like predatory. The women are less developed or something. The older guys are preying on, younger women who don't know any better, maybe. Is that part of it? I'm not sure. The age gap thing seems to be problematic. Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old. I mean, obviously, okay, obviously, it goes without saying. You should never, ever, ever. And to me, honestly, it's disgusting. I don't even know why guys are into this. But why would you ever want to be with anybody, obviously, who's under 18? It's insane. And clearly, I mean, like, to me, it is a maturity thing. Like, I would not want it. There is something that when you meet somebody younger, it's like they are clearly not, like, they're just not, you're not on the same vibe, with them. They haven't had the same experience. And so there is something that's a little weird. I know that's ironic that I would say that. I never wanted to be in an age gap relationship, okay? It was not my idea, okay? And I think that's part of it too, is a lot of these women want to date older men. It's not always the guy per se. It's like sometimes the fucking women, they want it, they need to be challenged. What are they supposed to do? Date other 22-year-olds? Like, they're not going to date a 22-year-old guy. The 22-year-old guy can't handle them. They've had way more experience. They've been going to clubs since they're 16 with fake IDs and shit. A lot of these girls are out partying and shit when they're underage. So anyway, Peter Girl had a good line about this, about he can't wait till he's 35 because then he can date 23-year-olds. Because he's 23 now, they won't date him. You know what I mean? It's like, like men, for whatever reason, are simpler. They're like dogs. Women are like cats, Men are simpler. I don't know, there's an Arrested Development or something happening. They just want to play Xbox Live, PS5. They just want to stream. They want to watch Dr. Disrespect. They don't... I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of epidemic among... Maybe this is just guys. Maybe this is how we've always been. We're just like Tim the Toolman Taylor. That's who we are. But, okay, so the age gap thing, I don't see why anybody over the age of fucking 30 would want to date anybody younger than like 22 or 23. That's, it's like those people are clearly like, they're just not developed. They're not fully fucking like, and so just let them, why would you even think about it? That is something that's weird. If you're dating people under the age of like 23, like that's fucking weird. I don't care. I don't really care how old you are. I mean, I remember when I was in college, I think I was probably 21 or so, maybe 22, somewhere in that area. This girl who I had gone out with, she started going out with this guy. She was like probably 19 or something. She was going out with a guy who was 31 or maybe he was 33. And we thought that was the most disgusting. We thought this guy was ancient. We wrote a song about it. Listen to our song, Gay Cruise. My friend Jake had the song Gay Cruise. And it's all about, she was dating this guy that was over 30. We thought, oh my God, this guy is fucking ancient. Like, he's got to be all wrinkly. I remember when I was 22, I hooked up with a girl who was 26. And I thought she was, like, old. I thought, I was like, oh my God, this girl is, like saggy and old. And, like, her body's, like, not like, fit, like a 20, like, people my age. But it's, like, that's insane. I don't know. I mean... that being said, I mean, you come to New York City, some of these women that are 25, 26, 27 or whatever, I mean, they're very fucking capable. They're very professional. They have it all, you know? So it's like they want to date billionaires. They want to date finance bros that fucking have trust funds who are 6'5" with blue eyes. And they want to be challenged, you know? They want it all. They want everything. They're not going to settle, you know? So they end up dating Bill Belichick. Because he's a Super Bowl winning. I mean, look, winning is sexy. The guy has won the fucking Super Bowl like many, many fucking times. Like, that is an indication that he is superior genetically to the rest of us, okay? That's why we have sports. Just to weed these people out, okay? They're the genetic god seeds. Then the rest of us are just pygmy fucking, we're the bungled and the botched. And so we have to scrape by and take what we can get. And meanwhile, Bill Belichick is 74. He's banging 24-year-old. De Niro's 85. He, you know, Mick Jagger. At least Mick Jagger's girlfriend is like sort of 40 or something. It's 30, okay, 72. Well, for one thing, the lifespan is expanding. So these age gaps are only going to get bigger, okay? As human life expectancy, you know, continues to expand. You know, apparently in some countries, like I forget where, Singapore or something, the life expectancy is like 90. Like that's the average. So you're going to see a lot more age gap. What about Anna Nicole Smith and that guy? People weren't complaining about it then. It's okay if you marry an old guy as long as he's rich. Then it's okay. If you're old, you're just going to fucking, you want to have unprotected sex with like, you know, a 25-year-old. But you're rich, so it's like, that's what our culture is. You can afford it. You're Robert De Niro. You can afford it, you know. So a lot of these guys mentally are 20. They're Peter Panning. You know, we've been left out of society. We have nothing to like bring to the table, as it were. You know. And so we have to date, you know, the people who will not judge us for that. I don't know. Like, you know, I think it's kind of an insult to the women because it's almost always women that are younger, I guess. You don't necessarily see, if it's an older woman, then she's just a cougar. It's like, yeah, you go, girl. You got some young hunk. You got some 25-year-old hunk. You good for you, girl. More power to you. You slay, queen. You got Magic Mike. He's got the magic stick. Look at his beefcake body. He's 6'3". He's Mr. Big. This is something I wanted to address. On Sex and the City, I think it's so telling that her ultimate paramour's name is Mr. Big. It's like this double iteration of masculinity and size. You know, size is so important. They say that size doesn't matter. It does, okay? I mean, height is one way of talking about penis size, okay? I had a girl once, she told me this in confidence, like it was some secret she had found out. She said, if you want to find a guy with a big dick, you get a tall guy who's skinny. Their dick always looks huge. And I'm not saying it's about penis size necessarily. It's just about the size. Women want to be around something that feels protective and safe. And so your size does matter. If you're a big motherfucker who gives them the impression you can like beat some ass, you know, if a tiger attacks or whatever, then they want your cum. I hate to put it that way, okay? This is election coverage. It's election year. So, you know, negativity causes views. So we have to take all the gloves off, okay? It's election year. We have to fight fire with fire, everybody. Are we going to resist or are we going to resist? Where's the resistance at? What happened to the resistance, guys? It became Biden. Became this withered old metaphor for America. Deranged, Parkinson's. He's the perfect president. Old, white, deranged. His mind, he's not all there. He's there about 40% of the time. He beat Medicaid. He's losing his train of thought. He's the perfect ultimate metaphor for America right now. Like, let's just let America just, fall down in the shower and break its hip. We don't want Trump. Trump, things will get weird. Things will get fucking weird. And it died in the 60s. What died in the 60s? The resistance. Yeah. Yeah, so let our creepy old withered president. I would rather see America be like a gray ghost. That's like, I don't know, just he's ceremonial. It's pretty much ceremonial. There's, who knows, Kissinger or whatever, he died. He died, so it died. The resistance died in the 60s. Spoken like a true boomer. No, we love that. I mean, I've always identified with 60s culture because it did feel so much better than what was happening when I was young. To be honest, I mean, I still listen to that music. That's why I've been playing Louie Louie on stage. That song, Jonathan Richman, that's totally what that song is about. Parties in the USA. That's why I played it. To me, that is like kind of the ultimate, one of the best songs. It's poignant about what happened to America. It's like he's just talking about how in the 60s people had fun. The music was fun. Louie Louie, Little Latin Loopy Loo. These 1, 4, 5 songs. Hang on Sloopy. There's a million of them. Wild Thing. Gloria. It was an egalitarian kind of democratic time. The music was amazing. The one thing I like about garage bands is those bands just came from everywhere. The Kingsmen were from Tacoma, Washington, and fucking, Gloria, those guys were from fucking, Chicago or LA or something. And, Little Black Egg or fucking Little Bit of Soul, those guys were from Columbus. It's like you could get a hit from anywhere in the country. Now it's like some Swedish fucking super producer or people buy their way onto the charts or whatever. It's all rigged. Drake's got 1 billion plays. Yeah, right. Whatever happened to Little Latin Loopy Loo? So anyway, parties in the USA, the cops got called on the parties. The people were making too much noise. Now everything's loud. Reagan happened. Nuclear power happened. Radioactive shipment. And now nobody's having any fun. I mean, Pride, there's still people partying outside, I guess. We're still trying to, have the barbecue. Have the block party. Adam S. in the house. My man. We're talking about how it all died in the 60s. We're just living in the aftermath of the human being before the AI robots take over. In the sunset of humanity. Human intelligence. What a piece of work is man. All of that. How noble in dignity and whatnot. An apprehension, how like an angel. I'm madly, this is a remix. It's all about making it your own. Just say it in your own words, right? That's what they told us in our prompt books, in our homework. Hey now, Adam S. We're going to give you a mention in the comments because the thumbs up count went up, everybody. Pay us in views, pay us in attention, pay us in likes. We're just putting out some food for thought. Yeah, remember they told us in our own words. Tell us in your own words why it doesn't fucking matter what the hell happened at the debate. Who cares? Don't even watch it. I hate to say it, but South Park did kind of, yeah, there you go. We're in the aftermath of the aftermath of the aftermath of the good times. The boomers. That's why we hate the boomers so much. Because they got to have all the good times. Their whole lives were just like some big party. Some big birthday cakewalk party. Doing drugs. Listen to goddamn Beatle albums. Meanwhile, their children have to foot the bill. 9/11, boom. Iraq, Afghanistan, student loan debt, 2008, Trump, insanity all the time, social media information overload, guinea pigs of Peter Thiel and fucking people were worried about the draft. There you go. It wasn't all sunshine and lollipops. Wasn't all incense and peppermints, okay? In the 60s. There was a very real chance you could go to Vietnam and be killed in some kind of tunnel by some kind of bamboo spikes or something. Cobras, landmines would evaporate your buddy. They'd put you to walk point. Door gunners, apparently Vietnam door gunner mortality, their average lifespan was 2 weeks. I mean, that would have just been a hell on earth, having to go to Vietnam for no fucking reason whatsoever. There was absolutely no reason to be there. Just total stupid anti-communist insanity. They just needed a war. They just needed to sell guns, okay? It's the military-industrial suplex. It's a money transfer. They're transferring our tax dollars, our hard-earned money that we earned live streaming and being influencers and making TikToks and fucking looking hot on the internet and selling our ass on the internet, throwing ass on the internet. Please send me money. There's nothing more crushing than realizing you're not hot enough to make a living on the internet. That is the psychic pressure we all live under today. It's the awareness that I am not hot enough to monetize my ass. And I have to figure out some other way. I always thought I would be able to live off my fucking charisma and my talent. Ha ha ha! What a joke that is. Now all you need is cleavage, or do makeup tutorials or get fillers. Have some kind of fake tan. The Hawk Tuah girl does seem down to earth. I think she's a little too innocent for the fame. I hope she's not destroyed by the fame. She seems nice, actually. She's not exactly media savvy. I kind of like that. But that's all I'll say about the Hawk Tuah girl, okay? We're all living under this psychic anvil. The psychic crusher machine of just like, you suck at the internet. No one likes no one likes you, okay? No one liked your post, okay? No one liked it. It sucked. Your post sucked. You got 3 likes. Everybody can see your dick and how small it is because it's just waving out here with 3 likes because you're such a fucking piece of shit that nobody likes. And let's fucking design an entire social pipeline of imagery that telegraphs that information to everybody instantly. How lame you are and how bad you suck and how unpopular you are. And how no one likes you. You're a public embarrassment. You think you're going to be famous. You're trying to monetize your fucking talent. And you're a joke. You're maybe in the 95th percent. You have to be Pete Davidson, okay? You have to be 6'3", and your dad has to have been killed in 9/11. If you want to be famous now, okay? Was your dad killed during 9/11? No. Then who? Then fuck off. What tragedy? How are you tied into the narrative? Were you in Iraq? Were you personally victimized? Were you, by Sandy Hook? No, we won't go there. We won't touch those poor. I mean, God damn it. The school shootings, it's crazy. It's too much. And, I don't know. We're all trying to, that's right. There you go. I mean, I don't mean to pick on Pete Davidson. Good for him. He gives a fuck. He fucking cares. I'm just like a fucking maggot in the trash can of, the putrefying gossip of the legacy media. I heard of a new term for it. What the fuck was it? Not legacy media. Fuck. Because I overuse the term legacy media. It's not specific enough. I forget what the fucking term was that I heard. God damn it. But anyway, God bless you, Bruce Halladay, for partying during the 60s. It was a love revolution, okay? It's just a very it's hard to even have fun now. You know, like women hate us. They don't trust us. If they get a bad vibe about anything, it's just like, no. This is weird. No. I'm flying to Italy for the summer. I'm vacationing in Italy. I'm going to the Amalfi Coast because I'm hot. Okay? And I can do that somehow. Men just send me money magically. It's hard being a man. That's what my live stream is about, okay? It's just nobody feels for us. They think we're just all lumberjacks. And we just tough it out, and it's just we get paid more. I don't even have a job. How can I possibly get paid more? At doing what? They call it the ick. Yeah, exactly. They get the ick. That's what it is. Ooh, I got the ick. I got the ick. He was kind of weird for 1 second. I got the ick, so I'm never going to talk to him again. That's fair. That's fair, to be honest. I mean, okay, here's my most controversial take, okay? I would just want to get this out there. I don't mean this in a misogynistic way. I have no women that watch my anything. So I apologize. I love women. I totally respect women. I worship women. They're definitely superior. That's why they have to date older men. That's why they have to date Woody Allen. Because it's like they need somebody that challenges them mentally because they're all fucking brilliant and detail-oriented and they see everything. They notice every goddamn thing. They talk about it somehow with all their friends on their secret network of group chats where they just report everything to each other like some kind of underground fucking... They are the CIA. You know? They don't want any of us to ever, to have any fun. They just have to figure out, they have to go through, they have to keep going through until, and I hate the green flag, red flag thing. Okay, they say that it's a green flag to not have any social media, which I don't think that's true. I think guys, if they don't have social media, there's no way you're gonna find out they're married or something, because you can't find out anything about their life. So it's like the guys with social media, those are the suspicious ones, to be honest. Ladies, that's my my advice to you. But I will say, okay, I think there's an overinflation. We're experiencing an inflation. There's something that has gone out of whack with supply and demand between the male and female dynamic. There's too many hot women. And there's not enough men, apparently. There's an oversupply of hot women who are, like, killing it. Yeah, there you go. The CIA. Yeah, they're telling on us. They don't want to ever have any fun. Everybody's been sober for 6 months. Good for them. But, so anyway, there's like inflation. We're experiencing some kind of inflation. Maybe they're just they see nothing of value in us. I think they've been put on a pedestal. I think societally, we have put the pussy on a pedestal. If I may, I mean, we're all men here. All the women have tuned out by now, I'm sure. But I think societally, and not that, it's long overdue. I think this is progress. It's been thousands and thousands of years of men, just forcing women to marry them, even though they're trolls and they're short kings. And these women are goddesses and they're queens. And oh my God, they're all, tall and beautiful and smart. And they don't want to feel giant next to us. We make them feel like giants. Because they're 5'9". They couldn't possibly see us as human beings. We're not even, women, they don't even want to be around you, okay? They don't even want to be around you, really. If you don't have Marfans, okay? They don't want to date somebody with Marfans. We're really getting into it. Okay, I'm from the 90s, all right? We were politically incorrect. We were tough back then, all right? We weren't all snowflakes. Snowflakes in the Trump dictatorship. It's like, how could things be more like opposite and polarized? It's like, it's so, it's like a fucking Avengers. It's too Hollywood. The stakes are too high. It's too cartoonish. It's too much like an MCU fucking stupid thing. Um, yeah, so there's like an the women don't want to settle, right? They don't want to settle for anybody, and eventually you're going to give them the ick. All right, I know. Okay, it's not always. Sometimes we have to re-up. Okay, give me a break. Give me a second to sort of breathe here for a second. Okay, I've lost 2 viewers. It's all about ratings, no matter what. It's all about, for some reason people are impressed when you have high ratings. When more people show up, more people care. Even, watching like these wrestling fucking podcast clips or whatever. I saw this clip with Christian from Christian and Edge, and he was talking about some fucking thing he did and he wasn't sure about it and blah blah blah, but it ended up being like the highest rated segment of his career or something, or that night or something. It was like they pay attention to who was watching their segment, how many people was watching, just like now. Just like how everybody pays attention to views, clicks, followers. They were even obsessed with that. On TV, it was about their fucking ratings, And Trump is like the ratings president. He's always talking about ratings. His show had high ratings. Like, ratings, not necessarily a good, People will watch a fucking car crash. People will watch evil. They want to see villains. They want to see the heel, right? They want to see negativity or racism. They want to see Trump say, we're building a wall and making them pay for it. Or have him bring out the Cheesecake Factory menu. But the people on the internet don't seem to care. They just kind of promote this, and we all kind of get squashed in this like humanity-wide competition of, am I being seen? Am I being listened to? Am I being monetized? Am I being liked? If these things are not inherently competitive. Art is not really competitive. It shouldn't be. It should be collaborative. It should be mutually supportive. It should be appreciated. I admire anybody with the bravery to post stuff that, like, even if they're not getting likes, a lot of things, drawings that people make, or, anybody that's got kind of like a fucking unique vantage to their Instagram account, like Peter Glissman's Instagram account, or, I see this guy, Art of New York or something. He takes pictures at every show he goes to, and they're not even good pictures, but it's like, it's cool that, I get to see his point of view. It is a unique aesthetic. There's no other account like it, to be honest. I think he's got like 200 followers, but there's a purity to it just because it's not getting tons of views, tons of likes, just because it's not bait for the algorithm and, some kind of weird filter face or, eyebrow blindness. I don't know. It's like, the promise of the internet was sort of like you could make a small business. In fact, it seems like they want us to like conduct just like our small businesses. We're all supposed to be entrepreneurs with side hustles or multiple income streams. And it's like there's definitely winners and losers in that. If you can get tens of thousands of people to follow you, you can make money. You can fly all over the world. The rest of us are impoverished and scraping by and just doing it, I don't know, I guess in the hopes that someday we'll become superstars. You know, something will just happen magically. That one thing will happen, that one project, and just will be uh, likable to everybody. Everybody will like recognize us. You know, I mean, what the fuck does it take to become famous? I don't know. Why, you know, there are so many people on social media that you're like, they're kind of just, they're just like, they're sort of like, maybe, I don't know, in America they're all like super tan, they got plastic surgery, they dress like shit, they're all fake as fuck. But it's like they've got audience online somehow. Maybe it's fake followers, I don't know, but they already look like pre-filtered and work. They've had work done and all this kind of shit. That stuff just plays online. Uh, I don't know. I don't admire that shit. I don't want to be like that. How do you be authentic? How do you create art? You know, I don't make like super succinct video essays like YouTube loves. I just kind of yap. I sort of think things through as I'm going and hash it out. The Chevron thing, that's what it's called, Chevron. Supreme Court, the Chevron thing. So now it's like basically, what is it? All the alphabet agencies, they can't regulate anything basically. They can put lead in any, you know, or drinking water. The FDA, you know, doesn't have any power. So basically, it's just going to take the fucking. All right, thanks, Bruce Holiday. Thanks for watching. Am I being boring? What the fuck else should I talk about? Yeah, the Chevron thing. We're all fucked. Like, how much of a dumpster do they have to turn this country into before they realize they shouldn't do that? You know, we have a good thing here. We could have a really nice place here. You know, that's the frustration, right? It's like this country is so wealthy. It's so successful. It's so rich, you know, in natural resources and food and, you know, just the landscape that we stole. Farewell, Bruce Holiday. You know, we stole this amazing, fertile. What are we gonna do? I mean, we just want to. I mean, half the country seems to want to throw it away out of like guilt, and then the other half just wants to fucking trash it with pollution and fucking just. No one, you know, no one gives a fuck about the future. Rich in unnatural resources, exactly. Rich in poetry and fucking. The future is like the most important thing there is. And no one has any long-term responsibility. These companies, they're trashing the environment, creating pollution, everything's fucking plastic. They're creating human lives that are just going to be full of suffering, full of what do they expect? It's like all the jobs are going to be done by AI. They want to create more people for some reason. It's like, what the fuck are we going to do? What are we going to do for work? You know, there obviously has to be universal basic income. Do we really think that's going to happen in the Trump dictatorship? It might. I guess he sent everybody money during the fucking pandemic. They probably won't make that mistake twice. But who knows? Maybe they will. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would it actually look like under a Trump dictatorship? Would he send us all money? Who the fuck? I mean, they would try to privatize everything. They're already doing that. It's already happening. I mean, shit is already really bad. The pollution is in our fucking heads, man. We're all depressed. We need therapy. We need, you know, pharmaceutical drugs to prop us up psychologically. so we can cope with repressing everything to go to our jobs, to cope with, I don't know, personal drama, expecting too much. We were raised like to be narcissists and to be competitive and to expect the world, to dream, to achieve our dreams, to chase our dreams. And I don't know, a lot of people just don't make it. A lot of people don't succeed. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with just like having a community. That's what it should be. We should be focused on that sort of thing. Building a community with just people who are around us and being good to each other, listening to each other, reading poetry to each other, expressing ourselves, caring, nurturing each other, getting to know each other, spending time with each other, hanging out, watching each other's content, supporting each other, liking each other's posts, sending each other messages in the group chat, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that's just obsessed with success and clout and achievement and being a cultural icon, changing the culture. And I don't know. Jesus Christ. Just not having what it takes. Just not being quite quick enough, sharp enough, smart enough. I mean, that is a New York thing, too. It's just like you're surrounded by the best of the best. And there's even levels beyond what you think is good. Even like the little local whatever open mic people that are good, or the local poetry people that are sort of eminence. It's like, well, then there's fucking anybody you can think of here. It's like doing fucking Francis Ford Coppola or whatever. It's like Scorsese making a fucking movie or whatever. It's like, and so you're just constantly aware of your ant status in the big cultural anthill. But I don't know. Just gotta try. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what makes a work of art anymore. This is a problem I had when I was a writer and I was writing plays or short stories. It was just like, I don't know what's a good short story. What makes a good play? Like they made a fucking movie about the Ricardos and I Love Lucy. It's like clearly he had an agenda with that, things he wanted to say politically about the current world, but I don't know. Like being creative is such like a mystical process, an intuitive process. It's so hard to balance like expressing, letting things out, allowing yourself to have ideas, allowing yourself to even think of things, write sentences. It's so hard to just even allow yourself to fucking to get things out because you judge yourself. You think that sucks, or you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're gonna say. But then you have to fucking edit it. You do have to judge it and look at it and shape it and figure out how to, fit it into something. I don't know. Revise it, make it work, tinker with it, mold it, fit it into, then, maybe with like fiction, it's like, well, it's just hard to know what the hell it is. What is a story? What is a poem? What the fuck do you write about? What do you talk about? And you got to keep doing it. I don't know. I think it's just like you just get in the practice of it, and so you recognize it when it comes. You recognize, okay, I can use this. Like I forget. It was something I was talking about with Ashley, with like somebody. They just had different sort of pieces of writing, and they just sort of like took them and put them together, and it's like that's kind of a good way to do things. It's like, well, I have this that works. Maybe it was Philip. Yeah, Philip was talking about Charles Mee because he had run into Charles Mee in Central Park, the fucking playwright, the eminent. And Charles Mee, actually, I remember I saw Trojan Women in college. They did it at Ohio State. It was very sexual, but it's also about war and rape, and there's all this violence in it. So it was during Iraq era. I wish I'd been in that play instead of fucking Dead Man Walking. I got fried out on Dead Man Walking. I wish I'd been in the sex play, like the spa. But I was in Dead Man Walking instead. I got murdered in slow motion. And they cut my love scene. It was that awkward, I guess. They cut it out. They just cut it. They said this is not working. So anyway, Charles Mee. So Philip runs into Charles Mee in Central Park. He's in a wheelchair, so he's like riding around, I guess. That's pretty cool. So he was asking him about some play or something. I forget which one. And I think Charles Mee said he just had kind of different pieces of writing, and he just kind of put them together. And it does kind of feel that way. And, with theater, it's just like there's all these fucking screenwriting books and playwriting advice about how to do it and stuff. And it's like, it's got to be narrative and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know. It's amazing to me. Maybe this is like some kind of American propaganda approach or something, but they really don't teach you how to be creative in college. They don't go anywhere near that. It's not really about being an artist. It's all this very like, I mean, with acting in particular, it's like, or even the writing, it's like, what do the characters want? What's the scene about? And that's it. It's all about economy, make the dialogue. When I was in college, I wanted to do like tone poems and shit. I just wanted to do stuff. Like Tennessee Williams has this play, Talk to Me Like the Rain, which is like 20 minutes long. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just like characters sitting in a bedroom just talking, I like stuff like that. I like the Wallace Shawn plays that are like these long kind of monologue things. Experimental, I guess. But, I had a lot of writing that I just didn't really know what to do with because it just felt like, okay, this isn't soldered together with like the complete, story, beat thing and character arc and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I just feel a lot of... looking back, it's that I didn't use things that I had written when I was younger. It's like I've done so much fucking writing in my life, and it feels like it's just added up to nothing. I've written so many fucking sort of fragments of plays, short stories. I've got like a lot of a novel that I wrote. I've published so many of these fucking zines. I was writing shitloads of poems before that were more like real poems that people would like and recognize. And I don't know. It does kind of feel like I don't scrape a deeper thing enough, or I certainly haven't achieved any fucking really anything that I set out to do. You have these like clout things that matter. That if you're not like published or a part of these things, then it's like, where do you draw your status from as a fucking artist? In our highly commercialized society, it's like if you don't have a career where you're making money doing it, you're just like a hobby. It's just a hobby, And so it's like, okay, have you been published in the New Yorker, Poetry Magazine, Washington Square Review, fucking No Deer? There's any number of fucking, the Brooklyn Rail. I've been published here or there. To be honest, I don't really go for that very often. But to be honest, if you want to have a career, a lot of it is about that. Like, you got to answer the fucking emails, you got to communicate directly, you got to submit to stuff. You know, if you might win. You know, if you submit to contests, if you submit to magazines, you might fucking get in. I've gotten accepted to shit. You know, I've gotten publications that like were not totally a joke or just my friends or something. Um, or you got to get a fucking MFA, of course. That's the other thing I bitch about. Everybody knows that I love to bitch about the MFA Ponzi scheme. The MFA stands for Madoff, okay? That's what MFA stands for. It stands for Madoff of Fine Arts. You're getting a master's in the Madoff arts when you're getting an MFA. But it's like those people really finish their work. I don't know even if I dig deep, I don't know if I could ratchet my stuff up enough. I mean, maybe I feel like I don't have what it takes. Or I don't know, like, no, that's not true. I mean, it's frustrating struggling in this kind of nether space where it's like you don't have institutional support, you don't have credentials, you have a bad attitude, you know, you have a pissy attitude about being a middle-aged, passed over. Like, if this was The Godfather, am I Fredo? I feel like I'm Fredo, probably. So what? I go to open mics and I just force people to listen to my poetry. I force them to hear me say shit about, you know, explicit sexual acts or, you know, sperm or something. And I've just gotten more and more antisocial and antagonistic as I've gotten. Oh my god, I'm supposed to have this meeting tomorrow. Holy shit. I shouldn't talk about this, but I've got this meeting about my job. See, this is why I just don't. I've got to figure out how to negotiate this, but like, I'm not like a good. Yeah, I can't drink really. I have such bad teeth that I can't really drink. So that's why I smoke weed all the time. That's my poetry thing, is smoking weed. Smoking weed is my poetry thing, people, okay? So that's why I am doing it constantly, because it's how I always stay high, and it's how I, you know, kind of invite the muse, I suppose. But I don't know. Maybe I should be sober like everybody else and get my token and shit. And I don't know. If I lived in... The thing is, I always write when I'm high, so, you know, things that seem real funny to you or profound when you're high later might not have the same sparkle. That's right past them. Oh, Ashley's back. All right, Ashley, love you, good night. Okay? Good night, Ashley. Ashley making a rare cameo appearance. We watched the Seinfeld episode where Kramer's got the Merv Griffin in his living room. She'd never seen that before. She wasn't even born. Ashley, we were talking about age gap relationships. Did you see that part of the? I mean, what does the Supreme Court say? Are they 6'3"? They're probably 6'3" in favor of age gap relationships with porn stars that you paid off. The president is immune from age gap. The president is immune to have sex with his own daughter. The Supreme Court ruled today, 6-3, that Trump could have sex with his own daughter. and it's not gross. When Trump is dictator, we'll be hearing shit like that. The Supreme Court ruled today that Trump is God. He really is awesome. He really is handsome and cool. He really is a very stable genius. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously that Trump is a genius. And he won his golf club's championship. He won the golf club championship, which is very hard. You have to be very smart to do that. Like, Trump got dragged into the old guy. yelling at cloud shit, just like Biden did. You know, he was talking about his fucking golf game. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm sure they're both fucking whack as hell. They're 80 years old. Trump probably cheats his ass off. Biden, he probably doesn't even know which way the fucking green is. I played golf with my Uncle Alan. He had some kind of like dementia or something toward the end of his life. And it was shocking on the golf course. Like he didn't even know, you know, he was looking the wrong way on the tee, and he was just kind of smiling about it because it was like he just wanted to seem like he knew what he was doing, or like he wasn't, you know, nothing unusual was happening. But I don't know. It's an administration. Just let Hillary and the deep state run the show, okay? I don't know. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We're fucked either way. We need proportional representation. Age gap relationships. Well, I also want to talk about. This is very controversial. I don't know if I can address this, but maybe I should talk. Maybe I'll wait till Ashley leaves. So yeah, the verdict with age gap relationships. I'm not really sure. Are they problematic? Are they not problematic? I'm just trying to get to the human truth of it. You know, I think that's one of the things anymore. We act like human beings are perfect and there should be some kind of logic or like healthy, you know, traffic kind of signal that how we comport all of our relationships, and we have to, you know, that's what emotional intelligence is. It's like you know what the other person is feeling, and like you communicate to them, you know, that you're in the same place, but you do it through the sort of trust system. Okay, Ashley, good night. It's like if if you do anything else, it's like you're violating. You know, you need to go to therapy. You're giving me the ick, or like you're not emotionally intelligent. Okay, love you, Ashley. Good night. um, and it's like human beings are, we're fucked up. You know, that's what plays are about. It's about the contradictions within kind of our human nature that don't make any fucking sense, but we can't overcome them, you know? Like these age gap relationships, okay? It's just a tale of young people, they can't learn from each other. You know, they need to learn from someone with experience, okay? And if you get intimate with somebody, you spend time with them, I don't know. You know, it's just it's enriching to both people because you're learning from each other. You're appreciating another, you know, and you're making life. You know, you're making life because there's a chemistry there. I mean, you know, this, and you know, I think that there obviously, I think there is a fucking, there should be a cutoff. Don't date anybody younger than 23. Period. Just like if you're over 28 or whatever, don't date anybody younger than 23. But as far as any over that, I think it's all fair game. I think it's a little cheesy if all you're doing is dating like 25-year-olds and you're, you know, 50 or whatever. That's kind of cheesy. And like it is like come on, like it's shallow. Like there are beautiful women of all ages. I think that needs to be said. So there should be some reverse age gap. There should be young men and old women, you know? You don't see that as much. I'm for that. I'm pro age gap in women and men. You know, that's how it was in high school, too. It was always like seniors would date freshmen, right? It's like, we hated it. You know, all the hottest girls would date a senior. They're not going to date us. A senior's got a car. It's the same thing in life. You know, older guys, it's like they've got a house. You know, they've probably been divorced. You know, they got light. You know, women are attracted to that kind of stuff. You know, they're attracted to experience. They're attracted to scars. If there's a story there, and just like you're more capable at life, the longer. Yeah, of course, Ashley. Of course. You know, if you've lived longer, it's kind of impressive at this point. Even just being older is kind of impressive. It's like, Jesus Christ. You know, you're 50 years old, you lived through X, Y, or Z. Like, goddamn, you're still alive. Good for you, man. Like, it's getting harder and harder to survive. Yes, Ashley is beautiful, of course, yes. And, good night, Ashley. I'm talking about age gap relationships, the debate, Chevron, poetry, art, every goddamn thing. We're talking smack. What else did I want to talk about? We're naming names. Oh, yeah, okay. I wanted to talk about new shit. I don't know if people are familiar with poetry culture, but in poetry culture, people go, new shit? Whenever you're, well, this is like a slam thing. They got the ick from the Acme. Now they're like the scars left behind. Adam S. Yeah. Adam S. should put out a zine or something. He's got a cool attitude. You should write like advertising or something. You should, well, I don't know. It'd be like edgy and cool, you know. So new shit. People, it's like a slam culture thing. I think generally, when you're reading a new poem, you say new shit, and everybody in the audience is supposed to go new shit. And I used to hate this. I have to admit, I used to hate it. Um, I'm not. I didn't really come. But I feel like it's kind of racist to hate it, to be honest. Um, and to be honest, I like it now. I've embraced it, and I think it's cool. I don't know, like, you know, I would never succeed in a slam competition, unfortunately, but that's just a testament to my lack of discipline and my lack of ability to do things any other way but the way I do them. And people don't even like that. So I'm fucked. You know, I try very hard. I've been trying for a long time. This is the best I can do. Okay, I just don't have, like, I knew this guy in college, right? Okay, he edited in college he edited these fucking DVDs for his high school. He had these DVDs from his high school volleyball team. And they were like state champion volleyball guys. But their DVDs were unbelievable. They did this one that was like World Series of, it was like an end of year like highlight DVD. They did this one that was World Series of Poker, which was huge at the fucking time. I don't know if people remember that, but in the early 2000s, like the World Series of Poker was like massively it was like this pop culture, like just, you know, meme. Just like, so they got, you know, there was Michael Madsen had that show, Tilt, on ESPN, and, you know, there was celebrity fucking poker, and just Texas Hold'em was fucking everywhere when I was in college. And, so fucking they did their DVD. The volleyball theme was like World Series of Poker, and they got Doyle Brumson or whatever the fucking guy's name was to like be on their DVD, and they had all these unbelievable like effects they had built and the screen, you know. So it was like these guys were very fucking talented at what they did. You know, it was like we were making the Magic Baseball. You know, I don't know if you've seen the Magic Baseball, but that's what I was doing. It was like a Little Rascals movie. It's you know, it's very lo-fi and amateurish in its way. I think it's charming, but anybody who sees it probably thinks it's a piece of shit. And now this kid, I think he won an Oscar. He edits movie trailers now. He's got this, he lives in New York, and he's got a cool job from what I can see through social media, because we, you know, we friended each other in college or whatever when we played Halo together in the early days of Facebook, and that has lingered, you know. And these guys are great. I love these guys. They have a very advanced sense of humor. Their family would make this calendar every year where they would kind of do these funny pictures where they'd all pose. It was unbelievable how like functional and healthy and hilarious their family was. And they were almost like Zucker movies. They had kind of an airplane sense of humor. They were very funny people. And just like, you know, they were great at volleyball. They were just good at everything. And they were nice people. And so this guy lives in New York, and he edits movie trailers. I'm pretty sure he may have edited the new fucking Star Wars trailers, but he just won like the fucking movie trailer equivalent of like the Oscar. I don't know what it's called, because he edited the fucking Barbie movie trailer. which I guess was like some kind of amazing movie trailer. But you know, you could just see when that guy was young. I mean, this DVD he was making was like unbelievable, and now he's editing Oscar-winning movie fucking trailers. And I am live streaming on YouTube to the four fucking coolest people on the internet. Give yourselves a fucking thumbs up. Give yourselves a like because you guys are cool enough to be in on this extremely lo-fi, um, just running off at the mouth live stream before that's cool. But we're just giving you the straight dope. Yeah, so that was just an example to say that, you know, that's an example of my incompetence. And I'm still, you know, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you are always who you are. So you're never going to supersede your own limits. Okay? Some people are Glenn Gould, and some people, you know, can't sing on pitch. I'm a little pitchy. Although I do encourage people to watch my Towns Van Zandt cover, because I think I did a pretty good job of storytelling. I'm a storyteller, okay? I'm a fucking storyteller, all right? And there's a, you know, I think my voice, my life experience has given my voice a lot of character, actually. And that's really what it's about. It's not about sounding like some porno Katy Perry singer. It's about sounding like you lived it, okay? And I've fucking lived it. I've lived this hard land, okay? You can hear the experience in my throat. I don't mean it in that way, but you know, you can hear the clubs and the joints in the small rooms that I've played in the 1,001 nights of bar band in and out, playing cover songs, playing fucking 12 bar blues, playing Mary Jane, playing Street Fighter 2, playing Let's Stay Up All Night Together, playing I Like the Way Your Pants Fit, and just bringing the gospel to the people and just evangelizing IRL. It's about changing people's lives. And it happens incrementally, okay? This is not the fucking Eras tour. It's not like the Minions come in droves. We're not mass producing. That's not what it's about. This is handmade, high quality shit here. This is artisanal live streaming. Okay? This is like local fucking craft live streaming. Okay? There's craft beer. This is craft streaming. Okay? This is small batch. This is subtle. Okay? There's a lot of flavors and hints, and the flavor profile on the nose is very delicate and varied. Okay? Thank you for watching. We are I think it's going to be a snowball effect. The snowball is building slowly. We have 5 people. Someday it's going to be 10 people. You know, probably 5 years from now, I'll have 10 people. 10 years from now, I'll have 50 people. You just keep snowballing. You keep building that online brand and that audience and that community. New shit? Yeah, so new shit, you know, the thing is, I'm always reading new shit. So, like, it feels kind of redundant. But my process is different. It's more about disposability. And just making posts, making stories, Instagram stories that just kind of go away after 24 hours. But they, you know, they imprint the moment in time. I think I've gotten more fascinated with the way that culture imprints the moment in time. You know, poetry, a lot of times they want to shy away from references, things that will quote unquote date the poem because, oh, you mentioned whatever, you know, Lionel Richie in your poem or whatever the fuck it is. Such and such cultural thing. I become more fascinated with that stuff. You know, I become more and more. I want to intensify that effect. The timestamp, the uniqueness, you know, of the cornucopia, of the variety of every fucking thing we see. You know, there's just so much to talk about. There's so much going on. And that's the richness of language a lot of times, the richness of newness. You know, newness is always like Hawk Tuah Girl. Who the fuck is going to remember what that is a year from now? But we love that stuff. You know, that stuff is like the junk food of how uh, how we make it exciting that we have an onward, you know, futureness. You know, there's always new things. We're always being surprised by things we haven't seen before. The newest toys, the newest gadgets. You know, like Trump. A lot. You know, for better or for worse, I do think he brought a lot of new things into the presidency. Being on the way he used fucking Twitter, now he's on TikTok, and he just the way he you know, he would use fucking Twitter to make announcements and shit. He was very much like a social media fucking president, an influencer type with a fake tan and all. He was kind of the ultimate number one influencer, unfortunately. The president. He's got too much influence. That's like real influence. When you're the president, you make decisions that affect everybody. But, oh man, I put together this YouTube playlist and everything, and maybe I'll put it. Now it's just like going unused. I'm a VJ, obviously. One reason why I don't always put video in the background is because it usually gets copyright. You know, they'll copyright me for like some video I put in the background. It's like, come on. Come on. Let me put the trailer for Once Upon a Crime with Jim Belushi. It's Jim Belushi's summer. The people want Belushi, okay? That's one thing that people have been complaining about is there's not enough Jim Belushi in the live streams, you know? I'm trying to address that, okay? All right, Adam S. I know I mentioned Jim Belushi too many times. And that really kills my ratings, but, you know, we're committed, you know? I'm not going to abandon Belushi. He's been with me through some dark times. The pandemic and Jim Belushi lives in a $38 million mansion. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like these people they get paid to do this? $38 million? I read this thing where it said Jim Belushi lost like $250,000 on one gambling, like roulette throw when he was gambling. Jim Belushi is not talented enough to throw that much money away. I'm sorry. That is like unequal wealth distribution, unfair pay. Like, that's too much for Belushi. I mean, I don't know. What is it? There's something about the guy. I do think that he is like a talented physical comedian. I guess it's his vibe. It reminds me of like where I came from. You know, he's got that blues, Midwestern kind of dad. Chicago, you know, he's Chicago, but like, you know, dad blues, wearing Ray-Bans, and just partying. There's a little bit of like a Mardi Gras, you know, he's just Jimmy Swarsky or whatever his name is in Taking Care of Business. He's just this kind of John Kennedy tool. What's that? Ignatius T. Riley almost character. He's got this kind of Rabelaisian kind of enjoyment of life and kind of going through life just like it's some kind of Mardi Gras. That's boomers. That's the boomers. I think Jim Belushi is like maybe one of the ultimate boomers, really. He just hit the fucking jackpot historically. He was born at just the exact right moment in history. I mean, that is astrology, you know, when and where you're born. Maybe it does decide your fate. Some people are stars, and some people are not. We don't know why. You know, the process of making a star, stars have to rise. The public has to see you do something, like Hawk Tuah Girl. Not her, but I mean, I remember the first time I saw Britney Spears. You know, she just had that effect. It was just like, wow, who is that? She's fucking hot. But it was different. It was different than maybe any other celebrity in my lifetime. I guess Taylor Swift is kind of like that. I hate to, but it's like you hear those fucking songs everywhere. Those songs have proven essential to like a generation of basic Walmart feminazis. No, no, no. I won't use that term. I won't use that term. That's not funny. That was just for exaggerated for effect. I'm a Swiftie, all right? I won't admit that. I know people hate to hear that, but I'm 100% a Swiftie. That's why I play country music and shit. I'm trying to remind Taylor. The thing about Taylor Swift's music is it at its core, it learned from country music. And that's why people listen to it so closely. Like her melodies and shit are catchy. She has tons of hooks, and she wants a sound palette that's contemporary and cool and hip. That's why she works with Jack Antonoff and all these different people to get a kind of vibe that is going to be anthemic and cool for the soundtrack of these kind of like white women's lives. But the lyrics, you know, that's country music. And in country music, every line has to pay off. There has to be a play on words, a double entendre, you know, a deeper meaning. It has to move you. Ideally, all of those things. Has to tell the story. Has to be enticing. And Taylor Swift definitely does that. You know, her lyrics are like, uh, you know, the guide or the code book for like women everywhere. Uh, but it's also like hip hop. You know, hip hop I feel like is the mirror of country music. They're both kind of like poor white, poor black music. You know, it's coming from rural, it's coming from urban. It's like they're kind of mirrors in a way, and they're lyrical, and they're very highly developed, and they have to pay off. I mean, people listen to this, they memorize the words, they listen to every fucking syllable. You know, in a country song, it's like if you're good at it, like Toby Keith, you know, or some of these Nashville songwriters, it's like they can really key this stuff up and get it humming. I mean, Alan Jackson. That's why I'm such an Alan Jackson fan. It's just like the dude has got really memorable, evocative songs that are very well made, you know? That's like the thing about Nashville is it's so product driven. There's no bullshit about process or avant-garde or any of that. It's like all of the songs are short. You will rarely find a country music song longer than 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes. They're almost all 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's kind of crazy, actually. But they get the whole world in there. You know, that's, you know, one reason why. But Taylor Swift completely comes from that, you know. That was kind of the school. She's morphed it into this kind of pop, you know, arena, wine girl, alpha of the species. You know, super tall, private jet, hopping, you know, Super Bowl winning, you know, she dates whoever she wants. And she won't settle, you know, she will not settle. And I'm just trying to have the most exciting life I can have with my limited resources under the circumstances, okay? I guess I'm lazy. I could never really figure out how to generate income. I'm a waste of good white skin. You know, I could probably get some kind of job someplace. That's what I heard that joke the other day. I didn't make that up. I know that sounds insane, but I probably could get some kind of job. But I'm just committed, okay? I'm committed to the bit of being a DIY Just no bullshit, no holds barred, unfiltered, raw, unvarnished. You know, maybe I don't have the top percent of the top percent, but I'm trying my fucking damnedest. I'm swinging for the fences on as little effort as possible. While I'm also being as lazy as possible. The lay flat movement, was it a good idea? Maybe I shouldn't have spent 2.5 years of my life smoking weed and watching According to Jim. And now more Belushi. Belushi is how I dissociate. Belushi is how I like block out reality. Just put a Jim Belushi film between me and the Christo-fascist takeover. Just keep. I haven't seen any of the Belushi canine movies. There's like movies he's in where he's like a co-star with a dog. Believe it or not, we haven't even gotten to those movies yet. But so there's a lot more. He's blessed us. The thing is, he's the perfect guy for like Tubi. You know, I don't know if people are on Tubi, but get it while you can, because it really is. They have some good stuff on there, and they have good recommendations. And I don't think they have commercials. They actually have like old movies, and they've really they had Big Trouble, that Cassavetes movie. We've watched some good stuff on Tubi, and Belushi is like right in that kind of price range. You know, like his movies are like cheap enough that he can get on these kind of, you know, poor person streaming services, for lack of a better word. You know, like Tubi, Pluto TV. Belushi is like the king of that stuff. Because his movies are like, he's not Bill Murray, you know, he's not Dan Aykroyd or whatever. He's not that level. He's kind of like a mid-level. I don't know. For some reason, I really hone in on those guys. John Ritter, Jim Belushi, Charles Grodin. To me, for some reason, like, as comedians, you know, the fact that there even is a Jim Belushi and John Ritter buddy comedy, that's kind of crazy to me that exists, but it should exist. Thank God it exists. I mean, it's not as good as, like, maybe if they had an algorithm do it, they could maybe max it out. Maybe the fucking hyper, what is it? Quantum computing. Maybe with quantum computing, they'll be able to make the ultimate Jim Belushi, John Ritter movie. But check out Real Men. You know, it exists. It's real. It's there. It's pretty amusing. Like, that's why I think I'm so comforted by these movies. It's like they're not demanding. It's not like watching an Antonioni movie. Like, that's the thing about Criterion channels. Like, a lot of those movies are very demanding. And I'm all for that. You know, but a lot of the time you just want to watch. There's interesting things to be found. Like, I really do think these guys are talented comedians. Even though I joke about they're kind of these ironic, corny. Jim Belushi is like kind of a joke to me. Like, I mean, who the fuck thinks that's cool at all? Nobody. But there's something about the guy that I don't know. Well, okay, the other movie we watched was About Last Night. I should definitely talk about this. About Last Night, I recommend. It's brat summer, right? Everybody's a brat. Girls want to justify, like, them just being bratty and getting whatever they want at all costs and having a pouty attitude about it, being big and greedy. And so it's brat summer. There's this Brat Pack movie that came out. Andrew McCarthy directed it. He's got to do a real movie. What the fuck? Andrew McCarthy. People would cast Andrew McCarthy. Noah Baumbach would cast Andrew McCarthy in a fucking movie. But anyway, he did a Brat Pack movie. I don't know. I'm not a huge Brat Pack. I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of these movies, to be honest. To me, it's a little cokey and Reagan-y. To me, it's not. I've never seen The Breakfast Club. I've never seen The Outsiders, really. I haven't seen, you know, Repo Man. But I have seen About Last Night, finally. And the reason I really wanted to watch it was because in college, I was a big fan, and I'm still a big fan. I've talked about
David Mamet, even though he's a psycho Trumper. Um, and I'm going to talk about David Mamet now, everybody, because I like David Mamet. He's definitely, I hate to say it, but he's probably one of my biggest influences. I hate to say it. I'll probably get canceled for that. I can already feel people tuning out, but um, in any case, he wrote this play, Sexual Perversity in Chicago, which is, like 40 pages. And when I was in college, okay, there's two characters. There's Bernie Litko, and I think the other guy's name is Joel or something. And then there's so there's like two couples. There's the men, there's two men and there's two women. And they end up dating, and so it's really about singles life. And it's sort of about singles life in Chicago in the 70s, when that was just like, boomers or whoever were experiencing that. They invented it or whatever. That movie An Unmarried Woman is kind of about that. About like, singles bars and going out and like meeting people in bars. That was like new at the time. And like part of the lifestyle of like whatever, the zeitgeist. And so Sexual Perversity in Chicago is kind of like, it's one of the early Mamet plays. I think it was really the thing that kind of put him on the map. It kind of, that and American Buffalo. I mean, American Buffalo was really the thing that like made people go, okay, this guy's a big deal. Sexual Perversity in Chicago was, like something that, from what I understand, they do it a lot in scene studies and acting classes. I never, did it in any acting class. By the time I got to acting classes, they were all burned out on that kind of shit. No one wanted to do any of that stuff. So I was kind of like this weird, guy who was super into David Mamet in college theater, which was like probably looked on as super toxic and right wing or something. But that's not why I liked it. I thought he was left wing, to be honest. But in any case, because, I mean, Sexual Perversion in Chicago is totally about these liberated, and Bernie Litko just has all these outrageous kind of monologues about, the way he talks is, and Belushi captures it very well in the movie. I don't think Belushi originated the role, but he played it in Chicago. So he had done it on stage. And so the version that I had, the Samuel French, I think it said that fucking F. Murray Abraham had played Bernie Litko at Cherry Lane Theater, I think is where they did it. When it moved to New York. It moved from Chicago to New York because it was like, a success or whatever. And so I think the cast was F. Murray Abraham and Peter Riegert, who was on Animal House and on Sopranos. He was like the Esplanade guy on Sopranos. And he pops up in a lot of stuff. He's great. He's a great kind of just one of those faces. And so he was Danny. Danny, I think, is the guy's name. There's Danny and there's Bernie. Bernie Litko, which is like a classic Mamet name, Litko. He always used that name. And if you can ever get Goldberg Street, which is like Mamet's short plays, that book is pretty unbelievable. It's very dense. But at least it was at the time when I read it, when I was 24 or whatever. It was very hard to make sense of it. But I'd like to take another look at that book now. But Sexual Perversity in Chicago, the rhythm of the way the Bernie character talks is super. The shot, or so this broad, I don't know, it's very sexist, I guess. It's like locker room talk, I guess. But it's also kind of surrealist and absurd. Some of the shit the character says, it's just like insane. They're in a flak jacket and they set the place on fire, and it's clearly just like exaggerated bullshit. Which is probably how those guys are. I mean, that's the thing about the Bernie Litko characters. You're like, he's kind of just full of shit, But he acts like he's like, this super Casanova or whatever. But the movie I'd never seen before. I had written this script when I was in college, which I have in one of my notebooks, so I've been kind of looking at it, and it's based on these two characters. It's sort of based on that idea where it's like this relationship between these two guys, and there's there's a character who's sort of like, the coxman or whatever, who's sort of, in my head, there was a character that was sort of based on this John Cassavetes interview that's on YouTube where he talks about how television sucks. And it was something about the cadence of the way that guy talked. I wanted to portray certain kinds of masculinity and approaches to dating, right? This was way back in like 2008. So I was going to use these characters, which were sort of based on me and my friend. The other character was sort of supposed to be like Wallace Shawn. He was supposed to be more neurotic and kind of self-deprecating and like, not good with women. And so he was more like the student. So the dynamic was sort of like, this sexual perversity in Chicago was like, they're just talking about dating and blah, 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 and single, and it's kind of, no holds barred or whatever. And so it was sort of based on that. And so I was curious about this movie, but, I was like, I don't even know if you could make that movie now, but at the time, I wish I had done it because it's like, it's something that I could have shown now as an example of like, okay, look, we were talking about this 15 years ago. It's sort of about masculinity, different attitudes that different guys have, and what works with women. Or just like, I don't know, when I was in my early 20s, it's like that's what, like, I don't know, it's like that's what you have going on. I don't know. I mean, a lot of Lena Dunham stuff was sort of about that. It was about hookup culture, and this kind of, she would get into embarrassing sex with some guy, and then like, oh my God, what the fuck? I'm in my 20s. Look at these bad decisions I'm making. Let me make a movie about how I fucked some sous chef in like a fucking concrete construction tunnel outside of his job or whatever. And, so it's like, I don't know. That just seemed like human stories to tell. And what I was thinking about and just trying to figure out, But, so the sexual perversity in Chicago play, and to be honest, the movie I thought was a very kind of honest movie about relationships. It made it, Rob Lowe and Demi Moore I thought were excellent. I thought Demi Moore was very good. I thought she really was brought a lot to the character. And, it was kind of emotional, like even though those things seem like kind of facile, or it's just like, oh, it's just romance or whatever, it's not that interesting. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's very emotional when you're going through it. It really like is, you're weeping and, you're really hurt. So the movie, I thought, reflected that, the actual cost of that kind of culture. I think that's something that we're just dealing with culturally in general now, is like the cost of hookup culture, the cost of like casual sex, or like, access to people's bodies or whatever, the lingering effects of that, the dynamic of that, the power balance of that, the distribution of that, how apps and shit have changed all that and kind of like enabled it, weaponized it, made it more convenient, maybe too convenient. And so now we're all disposable. And, considering this play was written in the 70s and it was adapted into a movie in the early 80s, I thought it captured the feel of that. I mean, that was my memory of the 80s. I had gone into bars as a child because my dad worked in bars. So sometimes we'd go to the gig. So I had been in bars in the 80s. Buck Reinhardt was the mayor of Columbus, Ohio. We had a mayor named Buck Reinhardt. My grandpa was a big fan of Buck Reinhardt. The 80s, the bar, it was like Cheers. Everything was wood. The bars were all wood. Everybody was just in bars smoking, drinking, playing softball with no gloves. For some reason in About Last Night, they're not using any gloves when they're playing softball. They're all just like bare-handing the fucking softball. It's like, what the fuck? Did they not use gloves in the 80s? Like, is that a new thing to softball? Like, Rob Lowe is like bare-handing the fucking Jim Belushi single. That's people were just doing coke and raw dogging in the 80s. I guess that's they had freedom that we don't have anymore. We can't live that way. I guess it's sort of a pre-AIDS movie. It was like 85 or something maybe that came out, I feel like. And so that doesn't really play into it in any way. I don't think they allude to that, the sort of possible lethal consequences of fucking around. That wasn't really something I mean, certainly not in the 70s when the play was written. But yeah, I thought Belushi, it might be one of the best Belushi performances. Because, okay, the story is he had done it in Chicago, and they were going to make it a movie with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. They thought it was a good vehicle for the Blues Brothers. After, they did that movie Neighbors. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, right, were like a fucking classic comedy team. So the fact that John Belushi died and we're stuck with Jim Belushi is just a joke about existence. But at least we have Jim Belushi. I will say that. John Belushi was just too good. He was too intense and too good. Of course, the longevity belongs to his slightly more... To me, they have different talents, maybe, in a way. They're both physical comedians. They both do cartwheels and shit like that. John Belushi probably was more impressive. He could do, like, backflips and handsprings and shit. Like, John Belushi could really do some crazy gymnastic shit. Jim Belushi just kind of does some kind of fucking flabby-ass cartwheels, and it's all right, but he's like Big Al. He's just kind of he's a showman. He's like an entertainer, but, I mean, John Belushi had this kind of unbelievable charisma. So anyway, Jim Belushi said to John Belushi, like, not this one. Like, I did it on Broadway, or wherever the fuck he did it, Chicago. It's my part, like, let me have this one. I don't want to live in your shadow. And to be honest, it probably was like Jim Belushi's the Illinois alpha male. According to Dan Aykroyd. He's the Illinois alpha male. So he wasn't going to let anybody hold him back. He's probably a dickhead in real life. I'm losing viewers because I'm talking about Jim Belushi so much. Fuck it, we talk about what we love, okay? I don't know. He's so mid. I don't know why I'm such a Belushi head. It's my Bond film. It's my Hobbit. To quote Greg Turkington. I'm a Belushi head, okay? What can I say? Alright, hopefully this fucking thing is charging. I'm on 10% battery, so we'll find out. It's not gonna work. Son of a bitch. How did I do this before? I don't know. Okay. Maybe I'll just sit on the goddamn floor. What the hell? Why not? Yeah, so, I don't know. I thought Belushi, he was different than I imagined F. Murray Abraham would have done it. I think F. Murray Abraham had just won the Oscar for Amadeus, so he was not available. But Belushi kind of gives it, a sidekicky, kind of affable. He is really good at the speeches, I gotta say. You can tell, the one thing I recognized really in the movie as being like Mamet speak was like the Jim Belushi lines. They kept a lot of the Bernie Litko stuff. But they punched up like they fleshed out they work in some kind of office together. The one Danny wants to like open a restaurant. None of that shit is in the play, I don't think. I haven't read it in a long time. But I remember it just being kind of about, about how the relationships kind of break up and something about shampoo. I don't know. It was novel for the time. Um, but you could tell for the movie they'd like flesh it out, and Tim Kazurinsky, I guess, was like one of the fucking writers of it, who is like a Second City guy and an SNL person. He's in the movie briefly. To be honest, he's kind of the worst part of the movie. He's not really. He like tries to do an accent. It's not really believable. But I don't know. It captures that kind of singles neon gas light sign. Kind of. It looks like a Bud Light commercial. From like the fucking 80s. Like the whole thing is just in a bar. They're drinking. At that point, the consequences of this stuff are in the movie, but it's also kind of like, I don't know. There was a carefreeness. I think it was still kind of the 60s in a way at that time, even though it's Reagan era. Like there was still a little bit, like Rob Lowe goes around and talks about how it was the best time to be a celebrity because it was before social media, so you could do everything, but nobody would find out about it. It's like, uh, now it's like, I don't know, everybody hates each other. There's a lot of political or like, so there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of ways that people hurt each other through this kind of stuff. Being in polycules, being in throuples. If you made sexual perversity in Chicago now, it'd be all about being in a throuple or like a polycule, whatever the fuck people are doing now. I don't know. I'm a geriatric millennial. I'm in a good old fashioned age gap relationship, like God intended. That's why God made us incompetent. Well, I don't know. Okay. The other thing I did want to talk about, and this is extremely uh, controversial, maybe, is Asian fetish, or like white guys with Asian women specifically. Um, because I think people just assume that, you know, of you if you're like a white guy who is dating an Asian person, or, forgive me if I'm talking about this in an insensitive way. I just feel like it's something that I should make a public statement about that will live forever on the internet, okay? I should just definitely open my mouth about this and handle this material. I've got an important work Zoom call tomorrow. You should definitely talk about this on the internet the night before. What is there to say? I mean, I guess it's just like the cliche, like white guys want some kind of subservient. All I want to say is that it was not intentional for me. I don't know. I love beautiful women of all kinds. I love women, beautiful people of all kinds. Whatever gender they identify as. I love them if they're beautiful. And if they're not beautiful, you're beautiful too, baby. We're all beautiful. We're all human. We're all divine. And so, darling, well, you know, uh, I think all women of all different, races are stunning, and I would date a woman from any part of the world, if they were attracted to me and if we were vibing and things clicked and socioeconomically it made sense for them and whatnot. And if I had enough clout for them, or if they just dug my kind of originality, DIY, kind of endless, just throwing things at the wall, and nothing sticking way of doing things. But if they're not into that, so it's such an incredibly delicate topic. Um, oh yeah, I also want to talk some shit about some poetry stuff that I neglected to mention last time. So I'm gonna do that too. Yeah, I'm sure that it exists. You know, I'm sure there is an Asian fetish. I'm sure a lot of white guys have Asian fetish. I mean, a lot of guys, you know, just have like a thing for like Japanese culture or whatever, or like that was sort of, uh, well, like, you know, Pinkerton, right? It was sort of famous for like, uh, you know, there. I think there's tons of problematic examples of white guys with Asian women. And so it's, you know, it's like being in an age gap relationship. It just looks, it's a bad look. And, you know, love is love. Okay. Let's just say that it's Pride Month. Well, age gap, love, as long as it's legal. And, you know, please have some fucking, it's like a, you know, it's, have some fucking tact or whatever, you know, have some fucking, you know, class. It's like, don't be ridiculous. Like, date somebody who is mature and who, you know, I think the idea, you know, being that like these women don't know better. They're victims of like these male manipulators. But I don't know. They generally go by what feels right to them, you know, and then they search for green flags or whatever and just try to not see any red flags. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's insane. Somehow they end up dating Bill Belichick. Uh, but I don't know. I guess the idea that like you have some kind of subservient, that's the cliche. It's like some kind of geisha or something, some kind of me love you long time. I mean, God. Yeah. So I don't know. This might be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think everybody, this is one of the consequences, and I think it's for the better in a way. I think everybody, at least it seems this way, because of wokeness, I think everybody is culturally influenced to maybe date outside of their, you know, like white people, they don't want to date other white people. There's no clout in that. You have to disavow, you know, you have to disavow your whiteness by, you know, dating somebody who's you can't date another white person. Um, that's not the right thing to do, performative social media wise. Or I don't know, it's not good for your career. No, I'm joking about this, but like optics plays into so much shit because of social media and just everybody trying to climb some kind of ladder. And well, so I've just noticed there are more there. I feel like there are more, you know, kind of interracial relationships now. I think that's a good thing. You know, not that I have an opinion about it one way or the other. You know, like I know you know, I don't have a take, but you just sound like an idiot saying anything about this. You just sound like an idiot. But this is, I feel like it needs to be vocalized. It just needs to be said for some reason. This in the '90s, people would have just talked about this. They would have been able to make jokes about it. Don Rickles would have joked about it. But it's not. I definitely never had an Asian fetish. Let me just say that, okay? I'll just lead with that. I never had an Asian fetish, okay? I was not one of these guys who was like watching whatever the fuck it is, hentai, I don't even know, tentacle porn. You know, I definitely had friends that were into PlayStation and Metal Gear Solid or whatever the fuck it was. You know, a lot of people like Weezer, Pinkerton, right? It's kind of a famous kind of Asian fetish. And there were definitely people I knew that like Japanese culture was very interesting.
You know, it was hyper stylized, you know, fucking like Hello Kitty type shit or whatever. I don't know. There was all kind of House, that movie House. You know, I definitely had friends that were like Japan Files. And maybe it did have something to do with they thought the women were attractive. I mean, to be fair, I do think this might sound insane, but like I think Asian women might they do maybe have just kind of like pretty faces, whatever Western standards for like pretty are, you know, maybe are a little bit more built into Asian features. Like the once again, this probably sounds insane, and probably is some technically some kind of if you go into the politics of it, it's probably some kind of eugenics or something that I'm talking about. No, but you know, I so that might play into well, okay, there, yeah. So I don't know. There's probably a lot of reasons why that might be. They're attractive, you know. Who knows? They're attractive to us for some reason. Um, why not? And so I don't know. There's also obviously a lot of political war type things. You know, we went over there to fight wars, like Lieutenant Dan. You know, there was men. There was this economy of prostitution and whatnot, and so that fetishizes those women or puts you know portrays them or subjects them to a certain kind of image. You know, we have this whole economy of massage culture, massage parlors and shit. That's obviously a part of this and probably part of why it's problematic. And what we're unpacking here, that's all we're doing. We're just this is like unpacking explosives. Like you don't want to cut the wrong wire because the whole thing could just blow up in your face. So we're just unpacking this, okay? These are things I don't know. I haven't been accused of, but I don't know. I just thought it would be funny to talk about. Because you know, these are things that I think people are thinking. You know, I think there might be a lot of bottled up racism that's happening. You know, white people are not any less racist. I think that maybe they're trying to be better, but I think a lot of it's probably just fake. You know, a lot of it was just a fad. Um, I think people do want to do the right thing, but I don't know. We need to move past these things, I guess. Maybe no one is thinking about this. Maybe I'm just an idiot and putting my foot in my mouth, even bringing it up. I guess I was just trying to be funny. It's a funny thing that I think, well, I don't know. Maybe it's not funny, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a coping mechanism, I guess. Um, I don't know. I've been trying to dabble more with the truth or just saying, you know, it seems, you know, as an entertainer, somebody in front of audiences, you know, I'm trying to figure out what works and what unlocks reaction, what unlocks success. And so trying things like saying things that maybe you're trying to hide, I don't know. It feels to me like that's maybe where the place you need to go to affect people. I don't know. You know, on stage you're always wondering like, okay, if I go this way, try this. What if I do that? You know, you got to make a split-second decision, find something that works. But oh yeah, I did want to mention we've crossed 3,000 followers on Instagram. One of the things about the Easy Paradise account is we get a lot of followers. I think people think they have to follow to like send me a message to sign up, but we get a lot of followers. I don't know. I don't know why. We're lucky to have people who continue to follow us, but we also get a lot of unfollows. Probably because I just post the same thing over and over again. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what else to do with my Instagram account
because to be honest, I've been able to build followers with what I'm doing, but I also feel like I'm not really using it to put out uh, you know real content. Like I'd like to publish people's poetry through it. I'd like to share. I don't know. The sky's the limit. There's anything you could do with that, but we get a lot of unfollows as well. So I don't know if that's normal or not, but I think that's just the cost of doing business. Just keep growing. You win some, you lose some. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Um, so yeah, we're in an age gap. I don't know. Is that embarrassing to talk about? Is that insane? If anybody has any suggestions for are these my Ezra Pound broadcasts? Is this some kind of Ezra Pound? Apparently, Ezra Pound had some kind of radio show or some shit where he like denounced. He was pro-fascism. He was pro-Italy, and that didn't end well. But he had these fucking radio broadcasts. He had live streams too. Okay. Oh boy. I don't know. Telling it like it is. Isn't that our job? Isn't that what the truth is? I don't know. The truth is some kind of lie that reveals the truth. I think if you just say what actually happened, it's kind of like too intense for people. I don't know. You have to shape things into something that just serves it up. You just got to serve it right into people's fucking mouths like it's slop. That's what I've learned. Just got to slop it in. Just make it as simple and idiotic as possible, and people will love it. I did a comedy thing a few months ago at Freddy's, and I had this line about I've been trying to do things like more in touch with nature, so I took a shit without my phone or something, and people laughed at that, but that wasn't the joke. That was just like the setup. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. I've always felt like out of sync with what the audience likes. I don't know why. I'm just, I'm too lazy to like make something that actually works. And, we've been blessed with this attention economy where we can just keep trying to beg people for serotonin and approval by posting all the events we're part of. Look at what I'm doing. Oh, there was a picture taken of me at this place. Validation, validation. You know what I really am upset with? I hate how everybody has decided to do these like end of month dump. Everybody does everything like in coordination on Instagram, but everybody does these like June, here's my June, everybody. It's like the 10 best pictures that they took in June. And I get it. I get it. It makes sense. You're trying to economize. You don't want to be constantly asking people for validation and asking, but it's like, I don't know. It's just annoying to me how that shit has trended. Okay, I also wanted to talk shit. I want to talk shit about Brooklyn Poets. I mean, it's great. It's amazing that Brooklyn Poets has been able to build what they built by selling t-shirts, to be honest. It's gentrifier poetry, okay? It's gentrifier poetry. I think they like very bland poetry, to be honest. And they have this beautiful space, but it's like, people are making money off of diversity. And that's okay, I guess, but it's happening. It's being used. And so be it. But yeah, they started charging a lot more. I haven't been in a long time. It used to be like $5 for the open mic or something, and then you could get in the workshop for free, or the workshop was $5 and the open mic was free. And now I don't even know, it's $15. It's like all these places, it's like very expensive. So I don't know. I mean, like most places, they didn't really like my half baked fake avant-garde like assault on good morals and ethics. And just trying to force people to like my poetry or like they're dead to me. It's not a good strategy for life. But we picked the road less traveled, okay? No one is, I don't know. We're trailblazing, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't feel like we're anywhere near the main highway. But I don't know. It's about trusting yourself. You trust your own ideas, even if they're stupid. You got to understand, like, I'm just a guy that went to the Ohio State University. I came to New York with basically, I had a few connections, just people that I knew from high school that lived here. But, I don't have a master's degree. I didn't get into these college. I didn't even apply. And I've just had to, like, hustle my fucking way into all of this shit through, like, cold calling, basically. That's why I do fucking open mics. That's why I book my own gigs, to learn, to just get in front of people to fucking learn, to get better, to get stronger, to get funnier, to get smarter, hopefully to entertain people and create fans. Although, my YouTube page is the best way to just stay up with everything because my vlogs, my gigs, I put poetry readings on here. So it's really the continuity. In fact, okay, I am coming up on my 10-year anniversary as an artist in New York in August. That's 10 years of Scenes from a Life and 10 years of just hitting it hard on stage. Holy Smokes was 10 years ago. The Sludge was about 10 years ago. And so I've really been doing it out the ass for 10 years. And I feel strong, I feel good. I should have started way earlier. But like I said, even getting the courage to, reading poetry that I've written in this way on stage in the situations that I have, just through pure fucking, I mean, there's a lot of things that I failed at,